Hi, everybody. My name is Gemma Delgadio. I'm the Director of Marketing at Perfect Teeth, and I have a very, very important guest on our show today. She is actually the Vice President of Clinical Excellence, and her name is Marisa Dolce. She is fantastic. We've just been speaking this week about some really important things around mentorship. And as we know that January is Mentor Month, we just thought it'd be fitting that we get one of the people in our organization who people really lean on. You know, they go to her for advice. Her role is encompassing of a coach. She's been in the field for many, many years, and people absolutely love going to for her for advice. So, Marisa, thank you so much for being with us here today. We want to acknowledge you as a mentor in the field, and we want to talk to you today about some really cool stuff around your mentorship that you've received and given throughout your career. So, briefly describe to us somebody in your life who's been, a mentor to you, be that in work or outside of work.
Hi, Gemma. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I actually had a colleague in the past who I would literally credit with helping me transition my career. So I started out my career as a dental hygienist and then made a transition out of clinical practice. And this person was able to really see in me my presence and my ability to teach and lead others, and really helped me, and I'll say even gave me a little push to make my transition. So this was really pivotal in my career.
Now, do you think somebody pushing you is something that we rely on for mentors? I just mentioned to you previously, I have some mentors of mine are outside of work. I'm a mum and I lean on a lot of people for advice because, like we said, who knows that job? And I have a lot of people in work that I rely on who are in different fields that I like to learn from. And do you think somebody pushing you really took you to the next level? Would you say that's a great characteristic of a mentor?
Yes, and I would say it's a push, but it's an encouraging push. It's not. She wasn't forcing me to do something I didn't want to do. She kind of pushed me to do something that was a little bit out of my comfort zone.
And I think that's where we find our true selves, isn't it?
Yes, that's really. And I think I was going to talk about this a little bit later, but the only way to grow, in my opinion, in life and professionally, I think, is by coming out of your comfort zone. I really do believe that.
I absolutely agree with that. We take our roles to different levels. You get promotions or you do something that you didn't think that you could even do in your life just by going out of that comfort zone. So she seems like that was a really, like you said, a pivotal moment for you. How do you, in your role, we mentioned that you're a coach, you innovate ideas, you work very closely with directors of clinical excellence. How do you encourage innovative ideas within people? How do you get that idea out of people?
Well, I think because I started my career as a hygienist, the role of a dental hygienist is really that of an educator. And so I always work through education, even when I worked in sales or in my current role now. I always have the information and the rationale to back up my ideas. And sometimes the rationale is, I think the person's capable of this, and this is why. So always having, I think having a science background, always having the theory behind what you're doing is really important. So I would say education is the way I encourage innovative ideas.
I love that. That's fantastic. And I was speaking to a hygienist the other day about her role, and she described it just the way you did. So that's wonderful. Um, Now, Marisa, are you currently a mentor to somebody? I know that your role is encompassing of being a coach, but has somebody asked you to be their mentor in your life?
So I am a mentor to many people in my current role. So being in hygiene leadership, I serve as a mentor to any of the hygienists that I have trained, but also the hygiene directors. So I just hired a new hygiene director for our Colorado market.
Awesome.
And her first words were she was delighted and privileged to work under me, to learn from me. So I take so much pride and derive so much satisfaction in helping others in their careers.
I love that. Now, and I think she's obviously seen that within you, and you obviously have a lot of advice for people, especially with the clinical background, and also the education piece that you mentioned. What advice would you give to somebody who really cultivating them to help plan a career rather than just simply working a job, doing the 9 to 5? What advice would you give to help them plan that?
Well, the best advice I would give to someone planning a career or wanting to advance in their own career is not to reinvent the wheel, to take advice and direction from others around you who've had experience and success in their roles. When I transitioned my career out of clinical practice, the person who had mentored me said this to me. She said, "The best thing about you is when your experienced counterparts tell you to do something, you listen." And that's the best advice. There are some people who are not open. So my motto is I can train anyone as long as they're open to being trained. And if you're embarking on something new, you don't come in as an expert, right? So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Take advice from people who have been there and have been successful. And that's something that I've always done. And even at this level, I've been doing my job for a long time. I always tell the people that work for me, I don't know everything. Somebody might have a better idea, and I'm always open to that because no one person can do everything well. So that would be my advice.
And that's right. Open minds do lead to seeking a mentor, I believe. They want to learn more, like you said, open-minded. They want to progress, and they are open to learning from others. Now, I think I have that, what you just described. I love to learn a lot. I will take any idea that comes my way and will try it. But I will also listen to feedback and advice, which I think is absolutely correct, what you just said. Now, for somebody who's looking for a mentor, finally, Marisa, what advice would you give them searching for one or wanting one? Where do they start?
Well, I would look for someone who conducts themselves with a passion and drive to succeed in whatever they do. I think that we all, working for a larger organization, we certainly see the people that have that passion and drive and do things successfully. So I think finding those kinds of individuals, because most of those individuals, I think are really interested in sharing their knowledge and expertise. In my last organization, so I was covering 300 dental practices, and so around the whole organization, we probably had, I don't know, could have been 40 or 50 hygiene mentors. And these were hygienists that worked at the chair that helped us train all our new hires. And every one of them took great pride and pleasure in sharing their knowledge and helping others. So I think just looking for those people who are successful, most of those people do want to help.
That's right. That's right. And I think these are just wise words from somebody who's been there, had a mentor in the past, is a current mentor and coach to many people in our organization. So, Marisa, thank you so much for being here with us today. It was an absolute pleasure to speak to you and get some real, great advice from somebody who's been there and done that. So thank you so much. And we look forward to you mentoring and coaching many, many others in our organization to come.
Thank you so much, Gemma. It's been a pleasure.